So there seems to be some big changes going on in the Xbox hardware department. There's some people leaving while other folks are being moved around the company. So let's talk about how this could potentially affect the development of next-gen Xbox console. And there's some good news I want to talk about there. Let's look into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I would like to talk about Xbox hardware, but not Xbox hardware per se as in Xbox console, but people actually working on a next-gen Xbox console, or maybe some other Xbox hardware too. I don't know, like as far as we know right now, there's next-gen Xbox in development. Maybe they are working on handheld too. Okay, but anyway, let's talk about what's going on there. There seems to be some big changes going on in the Xbox hardware team. There's some people leaving, like Kareem Chaudhry, but there's still some good folks there working on next-gen hardware. So I want to start with this particular story. This information is a courtesy of Windows Central. You will find the link in the description of this video below to this article, so you can read it yourself too. So it seems like after 26 years with the company, Kareem Chaudhry is actually leaving the company. So Chaudhry might have been known best for to Xbox fans for the quote, "It eats monsters for breakfast." It was actually funny, and it's still kind of funny that people still bring back that particular quote when talking about the Xbox power. And whenever Xbox doesn't deliver what some folks would expect it to deliver, they always quote this: "It eats monsters for breakfast," and then they laugh, right? So yeah, I mean, Kareem actually made some interesting quotes in the past for sure. So that was in reference to the Xbox Series X, and "it's a monster," that's another quote in the reference to the Xbox One X. Indeed, Kareem was responsible for working on some of the Microsoft's most cutting-edge projects, including developing the Xbox backwards compatibility layer, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and Microsoft's new gaming AI division, known internally as a XEM Tech or Xbox Emerging Tech team. Today is Chaudhry's last day at Microsoft, according to sources familiar with the matter. So that's Kareem, and obviously it's sad to see him go, because actually backwards compatibility on Xbox was great, and even though maybe he wasn't really involved with the hardware kind of side of things really, but on the other side, like hardware without good software is nothing, right? And he was involved with in a lot of nice, cool Xbox features like backwards compatibility, enhancements, and that kind of stuff, right? I guess he was involved in Xbox Cloud Gaming, but I guess the Xbox hardware was built already. They just had to adjust it to the server realities, I guess, right? So that's Kareem Chaudhry. Sorry if I mispronounced his name. Sorry about that if I did. But like I said, it's not all bad news. Obviously, it's sad. It's actually sad days to see him go. And apparently he wasn't fired or anything like that. Nobody really knows why he's leaving. But it might be, I don't know, maybe a personal matter or something like that. Who knows, right? But anyway, now having that out of the way, I want to actually talk about the team that is actually working on the next-gen hardware, because there has been some leaks, or I guess rumors more, that some of the original Xbox One X and Xbox Series X engineers have left the company or are not working on the next-gen Xbox anymore. And obviously some people were like, oh yeah, so they failed, so they got fired. No, nothing like that actually happened. And the same people actually were still working on the next-gen Xbox. And every single time, I mean, there's some people bringing up the fact that Surface team is involved with next gen Xbox. Apparently they are working on the next gen Xbox, but that's only half of the story. So yes, they are involved, but Jason Ronald, who was really the main, kind of like hardware engineer for the Xbox Series X, probably Xbox One X too, he's still in the team. He's still leading the project. The Surface team, I think, and according to Jez Corden, they are more involved with the handheld, and they want. Well, that's another thing, and this is just the part of rumor, because the fact there's just rumors, leaks suggesting that Xbox is going to deliver some sort of handheld, but nobody really knows whether that's going to be like a PC-like kind of handheld, or is it going to be a shrinked Xbox Series S, which I would love to see, or is it really the most probable kind of scenario, really, or is it like a proper next-gen Xbox? And I think what's happening right now is, and I'm sure they are working on it. Whether or not they will deliver another handheld before the next gen, I still think that the handheld will be a very important part of the next gen Xbox family. And I think they will go the 2 SKUs way again, but instead of delivering Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X like they did this generation, they will deliver a home console, with whatever power they will be able to squeeze out of the hardware, in 2026. And the another SKU will probably be the handheld, right? For sure, using the latest technology and that kind of stuff. It's probably not going to be cheap, but still, I think that it's a right approach, and I think they got. It's funny that what I will say, and maybe I will expand on that in a separate video, but I think that Xbox Series S may actually help Microsoft in a bit a different way than maybe they originally planned, because obviously Xbox Series S was supposed to be that cheap box that everyone will want to buy, even as a secondary console, just like to play games on Game Pass, right? And I guess that it did that to a degree, but it didn't really become the success that Microsoft was planning for, really. It sold well, but not the greatest. But the fact of the matter is that Microsoft did force developers to be programming, optimizing their games for 2 SKUs. And Xbox Series S is way less powerful than Xbox Series X. And I think that next-gen handheld will deliver similar kind of, well, obviously not specs, but I guess approach. So if you look at Xbox Series S, there's only 2 parts of the system that are less powerful, less capable than parts on the Xbox Series X, which is memory system and GPU. And both are kind of combined in a sense that, yeah, you don't need as fast of a memory bandwidth because you're not running the games at 4K. The biggest problem and the biggest mistake that Xbox made was that they didn't deliver enough of that memory. But either way, I think that next gen and that next gen handheld will be similar in a way that CPU doesn't really take much space on the die anyway. They don't draw too much, wattage anyway, the electricity. I mean, if you look at these Xbox Series S and X CPUs, I think they draw like, 15 watts or 20 watts, I think, max. Not a lot, really. So that's fine. And I think that, when it comes to handheld, I think that working with such a wattage on Zen 4, maybe 5, in 2026. You know, like if you look at ROG Ally, you know, I mean, ROG Ally has a much better CPU than Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. Can you believe it? So what I'm trying to say is that it's going to be pretty easy. I mean, easy in quotes, but it's doable to actually deliver a handheld that will have the same or very similar CPU performance as the home console, but you know, it will come with way less GPU power, right? Like Xbox Series S. So obviously they will have to design it in a little bit different way, you know, because they will have to be more careful about like the power usage and that kind of stuff, right? But hey, it's the same kind of approach, similar approach, I guess, right? And you know, you will have a handheld, you know, and that's the only approach that makes sense, because producing a handheld that will be able to run only few games makes no sense, right? So I think that if it's possible, if it's doable, just they should just, you know, stick with that, right? You know, have a handheld and a next gen console that are compatible, right? I guess you could do sometimes, maybe developers could get away with some games here and there, but yeah, but that wouldn't be fair, I guess. I don't know how that would work really, but you know, it makes sense for developers to actually deliver their games on both handheld and that device, because it means more players that are able to play these games. But anyway, listen, you know, at the end of the day, the hardware team is different a little bit, in a sense that there's more people involved. By the way, you know, Sarah Bond is actually leading the charge there from CEO kind of position, like, or maybe she's like a director or something. I don't know. She's responsible for the whole of the Xbox hardware team. I mean, she's not an engineer, but she's kind of supervising everything, really, right? She's making she's a decision maker, I guess. So who knows what she's going to decide? You know, the next gen Xbox is surely going to be different than this generation's Xbox. So I guess that's good, right? You know, doing the same thing over and over again, you know, doesn't really work that well, especially for Xbox. So, you know, and power will not really matter anymore, in my opinion, because so what, Xbox Series X was the most powerful Xbox, or Xbox One X was the most powerful console ever at the time, but I mean, still, it didn't really sell that well, right? It didn't really change much because the games were not there back then. Now, Xbox will have good hardware, hopefully handheld, and plenty of games and great services. Hey, what can you ask for more, right? So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.